Okay, well, thanks for tuning in and waiting an extra 5 minutes. I didn't just forget to hit go live and go through like the first through 5 slides or so. I definitely did not do that because that would be ridiculous if I was to do something like that. So it's a good thing that didn't happen. Awkward start. Okay. But that never happens. So that's okay. I am so glad you could make it out tonight. We have so much to talk about. What we have to talk about is mom and dad are getting a divorce and Paradox got the kids. So I put together a little slide deck, as you do, as a grown adult does when gaming news breaks. You put together, a 120 something slide deck. So that your rant seems a little bit more hinged than it actually is. When you graffiti on the walls, the crazy seems a little less crazy. And I'm going to prove it to you in these next 120 slides. So buckle up, grab your snacks, and let's dive in. So quick little bit of agenda here. We're going to talk a little bit about, well, I should say we're going to talk about the update in great detail. That's an important thing that happened. I want to speculate a little bit about the future based on what we know about the studio that is taking this over. And then I want to reminisce a little bit about the past. I think we can all have some fun with that. And I've even got remastered running in the background. Cinematics are happening back there. Back there. But anyways, that's not important right now. What's important is this update. And this is the news that broke today. So we were all greeted with an update on City Skylines 2. This is happening on November 17th, 2025. If you're watching this later in the future, there's a link in the description or in really tiny text in the bottom right of the screen if you want to find out what the internet says, but it is subject to change. They have deleted stuff in the past. More on that later. But that's okay. You know what? I almost broke out. There's a Apple. My wife had some from one of her streams. She has a confetti cannon that I almost broke out for this. So, the Pepe Sylvia registry and court book. Okay, well, I was gonna celebrate, but don't worry. We're gonna break out the conspiracy connections here. It's all Pepe Sylvia. But let's start with the update first. If you don't know what I'm talking about, by the way, I got to remember to turn the chat replay on. But that's not important now. So what did this update say? Well, it said, hey, city builders. And already I'm off base because it says, hi, city builders. But, a little more informal here. After more than a decade of successful collaboration across numerous titles that we're both immensely proud of, Paradox Interactive and Colossal Order have mutually decided to pursue independent paths. The decision was made thoughtfully and in the interest of both teams, ensuring the strongest possible future for the Cities Skylines franchise. Now, I don't know if that's made in the best interest of both teams. I think that's a pretty hard case to make, but... Oh, absolutely. I wasn't kidding about the slides. So, right? Okay, so they say it's a mutually decided upon thing, but Colossal Order is a studio that I think there's some people there that have genuine passion. I think it was misdirected, and we'll talk more about how it was misdirected in this video. Stay tuned for that, but how mutual it was, I don't know. Development of the City Skylines franchise will move to a different studio under Paradox Interactive's leadership, and Colossal Order looks forward to building on its experience across new projects and exploring new creative opportunities. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Both companies are excited for what the future holds while remaining deeply appreciative of our shared history and grateful to the city's community. The new projects and exploring new creative opportunities. It's just like, you could do anything as long as it isn't cities. For over 50, okay, I should preface this, hold on. This little blurb is from Marina Hallikanen, the CEO of Colossal Order. For over 15 years, this cities series and our partnership with Paradox have been a defining part of our journey at Colossal Order. When we set out to create Cities in Motion, we never imagined it would grow to become a cherished franchise with a passionate, loyal community of millions of players around the world. We want to thank everyone at Paradox for their trust and collaboration, and of course, the community for the incredible support that has made Cities what it is today. We're confident that the franchise will continue to thrive under Paradox's leadership. As we move forward, we're excited to channel our experience, creativity, and passion into new projects that align with our long-term vision. Their long-term vision was a 10-year plan for Cities Skylines II, so they got 8 years to fill. We'll see how that goes. Now, the CEO of Paradox Interactive chimed in after that. Our partnership with Colossal Order is one of the longest running relationships we've enjoyed here at Paradox. And yet here's where it ends. 4 games, dozens of expansions, and a community of millions of Cities players. It's remarkable how much we've achieved together. When they say achieved, that's corporate speak for how much money we've made off of you. We have deep respect for the Colossal Order team, and we look forward to seeing where they go from here. On our end, we're eager to continue working for the passionate Cities Skylines community and make sure to provide them with more content and new experiences. Don't worry, they are not done charging you for this game. That's Matthias Lilia. Matthias Lilia. I feel confident in that now. Deputy CEO of Paradox Interactive. Now, back to the statement. And technically, those were both from the statement, but they were breakouts specifically quoted and attributed to those two CEOs. This means the Cities Skylines franchise will move to a new developer, and we're pleased to announce that Iceflake Studios will be taking the lead. Based in Tampere, Finland, Iceflake Studios is one of Paradox Interactive's internal management game studios and is hard at work getting into the nuts and bolts of Cities Skylines 2. So theoretically, they're already pulling this thing apart to understand how it works. Specifically, Iceflake will take over all existing and future development for Cities Skylines 1. Keep in mind, what it was like a month ago, we heard that Tantalus will be taking over all efforts for Cities Skylines 1. So this includes the free updates for the current version, continuous work on the editor and console editions, as well as future expansions and content packs. This means that Cities players will be able to look forward to new updates and content drops for many years. Again, it was always the plan. The 10-year plan for this game was to make 10 years worth of money off of it. And they've invested enough already that it's worth investing more into this platform, they figured out. Colossal Order will implement a few additional updates before leaving, including the bike patch, which includes the long-awaited addition of bikes, old town buildings, bug fixes, and general improvements to the game. A beta implementation of the asset support for the editor, meaning access to asset mods, will also be available before year-end. Iceflake Studios will take the helm for all development from the start of 2026. Now we're almost done here. I just want to get a quick quote in from the studio manager of Iceflake Studios. Taking the reins on a genre-leading franchise like Cities is an immense honor and a great responsibility. There's a huge loyal community out there, and I want to say to every member of that community that we will humbly carry this legacy with respect together with all of you. Iceflake has the capacity and the capability to get started. Hopefully it's a translation issue there. I don't like the confidence of we have the capacity to get started. I'd like to hear you have the capacity, the capability to get finished, but one foot in front of the other. We have a decade worth of experience, and we're going to talk more about that in 1 second, from making city building and management games. We see a strong foundation and so much potential waiting to be unleashed, and I can't wait to show you what we have planned for the next chapter of this incredible game. And I pronounced the other two, but I'm not even going to bother. I'm sorry, Lassie. I don't know. I don't know how those, unless I'm sneezing, I don't know how that sound comes out. The statement ends, both teams are working together to ensure that players will experience a smooth transition. Iceflake will introduce themselves in the coming weeks and share their plans in the near future, so you know what to expect next. But I know what to expect next because I've been to the future. And more specifically, I've done some basic speculation based on what we've seen from this existing developer, and that's what I want to talk about. Wait, not true to me, Darch, because I was just going to get into Surviving the Aftermath, or to someone else in comments. I apologize. I'm just looking at chat now. When I'm on a rant, I'm just kind of rolling. But I will try and stop and look around once in a while. Okay, to chat. Okay, no worries, no worries. I figured as much, but I just wanted to clarify. I wanted to get down to the bottom of it. Welcome back. Great Scott, speculation. We're gonna need 1.21 gigawatts of speculation. Crank it up. So, okay. They're handing things over to Iceflake Studios. Who is Iceflake Studios? Well, their most relevant experience is going to be a game called Surviving the Aftermath. Now, just from the description, it's a little smaller in scope. Manage 50 unique buildings to handle everything from resource collection and farming to exploration and security. I've actually wanted to check this out for a long time. I don't know, like, if I could really get into it, but I mean, I don't know. I could get into it. But here's the thing, right? It's a little mixed lately. I feel like all Paradox games are mixed, especially recently, because of this Surviving Mars remaster thing. It's mostly positive at 72%. That's not a terrible thing. And if there's any consolation for console folk, I will say that Surviving the Aftermath on console does have pretty decent reviews on the Xbox version. So there's that, I guess. But what else has this company done? Because, okay, Surviving the Aftermath. All right, there's a little bit of overlap there, maybe a little bit of city building. They said they've got 10 years of experience on this stuff, so certainly there's some other relevant experience and related games listed on Iceflake's website, right? Right, chat, right? Foreshadowing. There isn't. So they made a game called Race Arcade. Good news, it's on Xbox and PlayStation and Switch. Except it had so few purchases, if any, that there's no reviews on the Xbox store. On Steam, it's mixed at 60%, and that's a stupid little overhead racer. They also made Premium Pool Arena, which again is available across consoles and Steam, and that that comes in at 46%. They also made Ice Lakes, which reviews pretty well on Steam, actually. So I went to check it out though in the Google Play Store, and this is the link direct from Iceflake's website promoting their games, their phone games, and their so anyways, this is the studio that's taking over. I'm sure things will go great. Moving on to facts. Let's talk about some of those frequently asked questions. There were two that really stood out to me. Timeline wise, right? Like, what's coming? Well, there's a bike patch coming out in 2 days. That's pretty cool. It's overdue. I mean, like, I can't imagine that's a huge thing to implement. Like, is it really? Like, the animations? Other than that, isn't it just the car logic that you already have, which then again doesn't work? So, hey, supply chains creator pack, who knows? Skyscrapers, who knows? There's radio stations coming, and asset mods, asset editor, like that's cool. Like, it's gonna let, in theory, people that aren't modders kind of put their own twist on things in the game, and maybe even kind of dip their toe into it and making their own unique things. It's has potential. It's unfortunate that it took us 2+ years and having the game ripped away from you to make any progress on that. I guess 2 years to release bicycles, though, is the bottom line. Okay, here's the other question I know a lot of people in my community will ask. Console when? Well, we don't know, but the Iceflake team will be launching or handling all development for cities, including the console edition. But again, based on Can we jump back a couple? Like, what have they made? Like, okay, they did Surviving the Aftermath. Again, somewhat a little bit overlap and relevant, but then a crappy overhead racing game and a crappy pool game and a crappy fishing game. So I'm thoroughly concerned, especially when they can't bother to update the Google Play Store links of their own products on their website. Knowing that this huge news is coming too, like this is big responsibility for them, for a studio like that. But then again, and this is the problem, it's internally owned at Paradox. So it's not like that studio is trying to justify to the public. It's somebody at Paradox is like, you're taking this over. Like, okay. Does anybody think to update the website, or like maybe people will do a little bit more research or look at this company that they've never heard of before? No one's going to update that. It's okay. Smoke and mirrors. Okay, since we're speculating, I would guess the most important trait of Iceflake is that they're headquartered in Tampere. Yeah, so Paradox is banking on a flight of developers. Well, okay, maybe they're literally handing it to an office that is across the street, but are they... That is a good point, Tarsh. Like, are they hoping that like they're gonna fold or people are gonna leave, and they're like, hey, if you're looking for a job, you can come be our monkey over here, and we'll tell you exactly what to do and how to put microtransactions into this game. Could be a bit of that. Okay, we speculate. We talked a little bit about the future. We're not necessarily done here, but I want to keep the slideshow moving along and talk about the past, because how did we get here? How did we get here? Well, we got here, I think most of us are here because of a game called City Skylines. Let me, there we go, okay. But it's not the only thing Colossal Order did. In fact, they made a little bit of noise. Originally creating Cities in Motion and Cities in Motion 2. Now, if memory serves, and I didn't look this up, but I believe 2013 was the year SimCity 4 came out and absolutely tanked and had the always online stuff, and they were like, okay, we got to keep this going. And in 2015 they released Cities Skylines on Windows, Mac, Linux, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and Stadia. Who remembers Stadia? I think Stadia actually lasted longer than CO's ownership of Cities Skylines 2 in the live. There was City Skylines Remastered, and then City Skylines 2, of course. I grabbed this, I just realized I grabbed this from a template deck and I didn't update the bottom right field. It's just like a generic thing that I grabbed the template from. It's supposed to say City Skylines Platforms Windows, but it says reduce costs by 25%, improved retention. That was just what was ever on the slide. It's 120 slides. I busted through this today. I'm sorry. There's typos apparently. So we had a base game, City Skylines 1, wherever you started. It was great and amazing and really cool, but it needed a lot of help. And After Dark was the first thing that came along. And it gave us dark. It gave us nighttime and leisure and taxis and cool new things about the game. But of course, there were more plans for DLC, like adding in things like snow. Not my favorite DLC, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed a build on it. Maybe it's time to go back and do a second one. Natural disasters, we'll talk more about this later. It was supposed to be the last DLC, but turns out it wasn't even the last DLC of Season 1, because this became Season 1. Mass Transit, Snowfall, and Natural Disasters. For those of you that follow me from console, that is your Season 1 of City Skylines. Then, of course, Season 2 came with Green Cities and Park Life, which is actually when I first started working with Paradox and Colossal Order on promotional videos in their YouTube channel. And Industries came right after that. That was Season 2 of the DLC. And keep in mind, like, this was all supposed to stop back at Natural Disasters. They were like, okay, we've got these ideas. We're going to do these things in the game. Now we're going to go work on 2. And they had all these ideas in the can for 2. But anyways, season 2 ended with Industries DLC, but even though there wasn't another season, it doesn't mean that we're done with the DLCs, because there was Campus, of course, and Sunset Harbor with the trolley buses, and airports, and plazas and promenades with the footpaths and financial districts. Oh, and then there was hotels and retreats, and match day and concerts, but not you for console. And the radio stations. There's so many radio stations. Oh my God. So in case you didn't notice, this game has a problem with DLC because we haven't even started talking about the content packs yet. There's Art Deco and the stadiums and Pearls of the East and European Suburbia and Modern City Center. And Modern Japan and Bridges and Piers. Big Squiggle House and Did the Vehicles. Revo and Mid-Century Modern. King Leno and the shopping malls. The map packs. Oh my God. Okay. Let's talk about 2023. This is all a little bit overwhelming. This is overwhelming. I'm overstimulated too. Which is why we're going to break it down in some simple information. There was a lot going on leading up to what would be the release of Cities Skylines II. And 2023 was a remarkable year for Colossal Order and Paradox Interactive on so many levels. I'm going to leave these dates up here on screen for a minute and just think back. It was 2 years ago. Chances are, if you're here listening to this rant, you are a Cities Skylines fan, and you might be able to guess some of these dates, or certainly at least guess a few that I think are important events that happened in the year leading up to the release of Cities Skylines and a little bit beyond it. But let's dive in and talk about these really important dates in 2023, because it was a very interesting year, let's say, for the Colossal Order team. February 8th, 2023, Cities Skylines Remastered was announced. And I was actually approached to make some content for a trailer. I will just say that I refused. And if you go back and watch the trailer, you'll notice that there's no game footage in the trailer. That's all I'm gonna say. Now, a week later after that announcement, the game came out and it was not ready. I defended my stance at the time, and I'm okay to say it. I was told that the game I was playing did not have an update, and there were a bunch of things that were getting fixed for the release, and they didn't get fixed. So that was February. They announced Remastered, pushed it out the door. It wasn't ready. Why would you do something like that? So quick and so abrupt and so sudden without any forethought. And because you're going to announce Cities Skylines 2 is coming in a month. And who's going to plunk down money for Remastered if Cities Skylines 2 is coming out in 6 months? I mean, I probably would have. I got it for free, so I didn't care, but I might have. I might have played an upgraded version of Cities on console for 6 months before buying 2, but I certainly would have held off in some cases. I bet some people did, and that was absolutely their rationale, I bet, in thinking we must push out Remastered now because we're about to announce Cities Skylines 2. And announce it they did with an Unreal Engine rendered trailer. There were so many people speculating. It's got to be Unreal Engine. The new game's an Unreal Engine. That gas station is an Unreal Engine asset. And I think you can actually see, is it a second copy of that gas station just down the road? But it wasn't Unreal. This is just the trailer. It says not actual gameplay. It's not even the same engine. And I was kind of surprised a bunch of creators were saying, it might be Unreal Engine. It might be Unreal Engine because my community's saying Unreal Engine. But if you just went and looked at Colossal Order's jobs, and they were hiring for Unity devs at the time. Like basic detective work, guys. Basic detective work. Anyways, March 6th, they announced, but showed us, they announced Cities 2, but showed us Unreal Engine. It wouldn't be until June that we got a look at what the game actually looked like. And thanks to some very careful camera work and editing and $2.20, I mean, let's be honest, you could give $2.20 a big pile of crap and he's going to make it look like a pretty cool city. And I don't mean that figuratively. I mean literally, like I'm pretty sure he could sculpt some crap into an interesting looking city. But June 11th, we got to look at what the game could do. Of course, this is on a 4090 in a perfect scenario with one of the best builders in the world. But don't worry, you'll do just great at it when it's getting 15 frames per second on your 2070. Okay, they went dark for a little bit, though, until August 23rd, 2023. And I'm so disappointed that I couldn't come up with screenshots on the fly for this. And if any of you know why I'm disappointed, because you remember what happened on August 23rd, 2023, you know probably the pictures that I was looking for. This is the day that Cities in the Sky happened. And it was a big event, and they had all these creators there. I'm trying to think who they had. Who's the amphibian? The guy used to be a middle school teacher. Yogscast. They had RT Game. And they had a couple other people. It's odd. If you go to look for that stream on the Cities channel, it's not there anymore. It's weird. I don't know why that's not there. Maybe it had something to do with the fact of the people drawing Frankenbeans and writing literally the word balls in roads. City Player Plays was not there for that one. No, it was all non-Cities creators. And it wasn't a great way to demo the game. They were having all kinds of issues because of the sun and the visibility, and everybody sounded like crap because of the wind and the noise. It wasn't a well thought out event. They didn't get actual city builders that knew the game or had been playing it or had any understanding of it. I get the appeal of some of those creators. I love an RT game City Skylines video more than most, I bet. I think he's a great creator. But it's, they went a really odd route, and so much so that, they literally took down the evidence of the event ever happening. So I imagine that was not money well spent at that point. Some of the other dates that were listed on that 2023 calendar were what I think are pretty infamous, the 3 videos. So what do I mean by the 3 videos? If you've been here for a while, you may know exactly what I'm talking about. If not, that's totally okay. I'll give you a little rundown. They gave a bunch of creators behind the scenes access. So I was one of those people, Overcharged Egg, City Planner, Biffa, and a whole new round of creators like Flyvox and Joy. Like a lot of people got in for this early round of access. And one of the things they let us do was, if you had access at that stage, you could create 3 videos, a 30-minute video here, another 30-minute video here, another 30-minute video here. And we could go up to certain milestones. And it's pretty clear now, based on how cities performed, especially at launch, that the big push for us to limit the size of the city wasn't to tease the idea of the game and the build and what would happen. It was the high performance problems. So the cracks were already starting to show, I think, in the first video. I made no attempt to hide it. We weren't allowed to talk about performance. But on September 8th, 2023, I posted a video called How Not to Start a City. And towards the outro, one of the last things I showed was the dump, and then I turned to look at the city, and the simulation was effed. It was a mess. The game wasn't working. Like, I wasn't setting up my city horribly wrong. Like, everybody's complaining about water that they have. Everybody's complaining about jobs and resources, and everything was broken. And this thing was like a month and a half from shipping. And I didn't say the problems, and I didn't say the performance, but I certainly did not try to hide any of the issues. A couple weeks later, September 27th, 2023, and round 2 of the videos goes out, and everybody is chippy and happy. And I actually went back to watch some of them because I went to check dates, and I forgot when it happened. So I actually had to go back and check dates, and I watched a couple other creators, and they're all, it's all good. It's all bubbles. And I'm over here comparing the snow in CS1 Snowfall to CS2. And I wish I had some more screenshots on this, but just look at the ground on the left. Look at the roofs, look at the trees. And then on the right, like the trees don't have snow, the houses, the driveways don't have snow. The cars do have snow, but no one thought to make the animation of the car and the snow different when it's parked versus when it's driving around. So cars are just driving around completely covered in snow. They can't see anything, but the houses and driveways are completely clear. Like they're all heated, AstroTurf. Like what is going on? Doesn't make any sense. So that was my effort to, again, just kind of show what I thought the state of the game was. October 11, 2023, when round 3, video 3 came round, I actually mentioned at the end of 2, like, I am not even going to bother. I am going to wait until I can talk about the game. And when I could talk about the game was October 19, 2023, when the embargo lifted. I wish, I don't know, I wish I could have done a better job explaining the stance and the problems with performance in comparison to everybody else's gear. I was the only, go back and watch all the footage around release, all the different creators talking about stuff. I don't think anybody was as articulate about their problems with the game as I was. I will die on that hill. I think a lot of people were quietly just hoping like, oh, maybe it's just me, or, oh, you know, it's going to be fine. Day 1 patch is going to fix it. All these things are going to fix it. But it was not going to fix it. But I took a reserved approach. And in part, the reason that I did that with potato mode is because I was technically running under recommended spec. My CPU was a generation behind what they recommended. Now that's like and specifically the generation that I'm behind, it's like a 2% or less difference in CPU capability across multiple cores. And it actually had a faster clock time than one of the other comparable CPUs. Bottom line is it's so minimal difference. It shouldn't affect things. I had a 3080, which was minimum recommended. I had a 10700, which is just below the recommended spec. But I said, okay, look, I'm running into issues. I'm running into problems. Maybe it is just me. But if it is just me with a 3080, then people should know what this game is going to behave like at minimum specs. Because I was not enjoying it at recommended specs. And I said recommended specs are recommended. I wish I had emphasized these 2 points better, though. Because a lot of people ran down in the comments and said, oh, well, of course, if you're going to play with minimum specs in an old potato, you're an idiot. Like, that's what you deserve what you get. Which is exactly what you should expect from PC spec discussions on the internet. But I wish I had articulated it better. Because if you look at the over-under for recommended spec, we're just talking GPU. At the time of release, about 7% of players on all of Steam had video cards that could support the game. We're not talking about Cities Skylines players. We're talking about everybody on Steam. 7% of people have a card that could run recommended or better. And the other one, which I kind of made a stupid point with, I was making a point, and I remember even Kanga, one of the mods, mentioned like it had to like rewind it back because like I don't get it. I was like, you can see here, you know, in blue, the percentage of top 10 cards that are, you know, cover the recommended spec. Basically, my point was top 10 video cards on Steam, the top 10 most popular, none of them met the recommended spec for the game. So it was shooting above and beyond, something that we've seen with other games, but we've seen them kind of shooting above and beyond. You're like, oh, we're going to make this look amazing if you have a $4,000 card. I mean, we could talk about things that are recession indicators, but I think that goes on the list. Exactly. Can't get to zoom in again. Okay. But like how ridiculous is it when you think of it that way? Like of everybody that's on Steam, 7% could play the game at recommended. That's insane. You are targeting a very niche audience. To be fair, on paper and psychologically, they are also targeting a very niche audience because they want the whales. that buy the $4,000 cards and the $400 worth of DLC. That's their target market. I bet some people know this date. October 24th, 2023. The game releases was Mouse being hyperbolic about his potato mode? Surely he was. Surely the game can't perform that bad. Oh, damn. It got down to, I got a screenshot at 29%. Somebody else got a screenshot at 28% of the user reviews. Now, that actually evened out the other way quite a bit. I think it got up to 68% like a week later. People were, I think, overreacting. It's like, no, it's not that bad. No, don't make them feel bad. Like, we want them to keep working on it. And I'm going to give it a good review. And you go back and look now, like, it is 52% recent, 53% overall, which is like literally just flip a coin. You were interested in this game, flip a coin whether you like it or not. That's sad. You know, you take all the success of a game like City Skylines 1 and throw all that goodwill out the window to rush this thing out. And man, I guess they didn't even rush it out that much. It was 3 years late, but so man, release. Woo! Mostly negative reviews. It's getting hot in here. It's getting tense. It's getting toxic. You know what would probably help is if the CEO goes and writes words of the week. No, actually, it didn't go so well. If you dislike the simulation, this game just might not be for you. Quick, delete it, everybody. The internet will never notice. But they did. Oh, they noticed. They still remember 2 years later. Remember the 30th of November. Okay, so yeah, the words of the week were pretty bad. If you remember, like they talked about the toxicity, and there was blaming on Unity and the technology. I'm getting ahead of myself. I know where this argument's going. Because it's going right here, actually. To December 18th, 2023, right before the holiday break. Let's push out a little documentary to tell everybody about this sad, sad story of releasing City Skylines 2 and how stressful it was. It was so stressful, I tell you. We were 3 years late and sitting on a pile of money. And I don't know where the pirate voice is coming from, but it's coming. Arr. So I tried to grab, I was going to type a bunch of stuff out and grab screenshots of the captions. It's a lot of work. Here's what we learned from was it the road to release? The path to release? Something, I don't know. It's still on their channel and it rings a little different now. Natural Disasters was originally the last planned DLC for City Skylines 1. They touch on that. They had a plan. Natural Disasters was the end of it. And at that point, they were already thinking about, okay, let's start thinking about 2. So work on CS2 began in 2018, just a year after it released on console. I believe it came out to Xbox and PlayStation 2017. Could be wrong there, but I believe that timeline is correct. And they delivered it 3 years late. So they were hoping to ship it in 2020, but it fell through. Delivered 3 years late, and it was a 10-year project. That's the other thing that came up multiple times. City Skylines 2 is a 10-year project. We can work on this game for a decade if we want to. It turns out they could not. Now, I'm paraphrasing this bit. I do quote the next bit directly. I'm paraphrasing just a little bit here. Just a little bit. Morena goes in to explain that she was never worried about the game. She worried about the technology, worried about their relationship with the publisher, worried about the team handling pressure, but she never worried about the game being fun to play. And considering that has always been from day one when I first got my hands on the alpha at its very core, I believe that is the problem with the game. It looks better in some respects if you have a machine that can handle it, absolutely. But it is not as fun to play. It's not as fun of a game. And that disconnect, I think, is so central to where the problem comes from. This is another direct quote from that documentary. The gameplay is good. Technology is something we can keep working on, but if the game is not fun and the simulation sucks, where do you go from there? And that's the thing. That's the piece that I think is most broken. That's the piece that made the simulation specifically is the piece that made City Planner Plays almost, or basically give up and say like, hey, I'm not doing much Cities 2 content anymore because I've tried all these mods and I tried all these things and my city broke and it doesn't work. And the game's just kind of And then they came out with a couple updates and now this, and it's reinvigorated things. It's wild how all that crap works. I'm so glad this is not my day job. But the simulation is the problem. The simulation is so broken that professionals are giving up, even modded, on trying to be able to fix it. So I hope they can get it around and do something with it. But that disconnect right there is exactly that disconnect right there. She's sitting in a chair is the problem, or certainly one of the major problems. I don't know that we can put it all on one person. But so much of this is just like not reading the room, not reading the writing on the wall. And what was it? This one, I was able to get this quote. So for now, so for us, now that the game is out, now this is where the fun starts. And what fun came from here? Well, there were console delays. There was malware in Traffic Mod, and not just a Traffic Mod, like the Traffic Mod, 400,000 subscribers, second most popular mod, malware inside of it. We're all very lucky that it was specifically targeting a unique type of crypto wallet and not trying to do something more damaging or not trying to be an info stealer or these other things. It's really kind of lucky that it wasn't a more aggressive attack. It certainly could have been, and it highlights a big problem with modding in general. Like, I think it's great. I think it carried cities a long way, but it also is very much its own type of supply chain attack in 2025. If you can infect the modder, you can infect everybody running your mod. Of course, the ultimate content was delayed, but don't worry, it is finally here. This is an old, and I apologize, a little bit grainy screenshot, but this is, I think, maybe the original. Yeah, Q4 2023, the beach properties was supposed to be out. Q1, urban promenades and modern architecture was supposed to be out. And then Q2 2024, bridges and ports was supposed to be out. Obviously, that all fell through because that just got released now. And beach properties, if you'll remember, isn't its own separate thing anymore. It's baked into the game. This was the one with the 4 palm trees, if you'll recall. And it is the worst rated thing on Steam of all time, I believe. It got a 9%, and their reaction to that was too quick. We'll roll it into the base game and hide all existence of the worst DLC of all time. So Ultimate Edition is here. It's complete. Yay! Now that the game is done, it can finally earn its 53%. And it's getting taken over by a company that had a 73% game. So I guess we're moving in the right direction. All I can say is if you are interested in City Skylines, and especially news on the console version, should it ever come, then you should 100% stay tuned here and subscribe, like and subscribe. End of rant. At least that's the end of the slides that I had prepared. Oh man, what a time. What a time. The console's gonna automatically trough. Don't trough now. We're just coming back. What is this dead road? What is that? What is that dead road that goes to nowhere? This is River Run. We have, what do we have in the bank? 379 million in the bank. Crazy. Wish all your meetings were this fun. Well, I'm glad I can make a PowerPoint. I can tell a story. I think that's something that a lot of people don't. A lot of people can't take so much disparate information and put it into a story. Haven't hit 400 mil yet. I hit 400 mil at one point, and then like, I haven't been running it enough, right? But yeah, the presentation itself, I don't know. Like, I know it's nerdy and dorky to build a video game presentation, but that's what we do here. So if you enjoy that kind of thing, subscribe. But it helps. Like, there's so much to talk about, and like, how do you lay all this out on the table without reminding people of these things, without reminding them of the 700 DLCs, and how do I keep my own rant on track if I'm not remembering to talk about the history of Colossal Order in 2023 and all these ridiculous, stupid games this new dev has pushed out. You know, there's a science behind it. I work with a lot of engineers, and some people are really good at technical, and they can present a specific topic really well, but they can't necessarily, I don't know, unpack I don't know, what did I just rant for like 50 minutes straight on news that broke today? Like, it's a different kind of brain, I think, that wants to build that slide deck in the first place. CS2 improvements ruined CS1 for me. Now I have no desire to play either game. It's not just that improvements ruined it for you. It's that, at least I can speak from experience, it's that the overall bar not being raised like sucks the life out of the room. It's bad. So like, I get where you're like, oh, the road tools are really cool. Like, the road tools feel clunky in CS1. Now, if you're playing modded, you can kind of, like, you can get road tools just as good, I think, in CS1. Probably less steps in CS2. I don't know. I haven't played enough CS2 modded to know. But yeah, it's just, the problem was there's a huge disconnect with what I think Morena understood was the problem and what is actually some of the problems. So there's this small slice of me that thinks like, oh, well, you know, hasn't she been the roadblock the whole time? And I don't think it's any one person again. I don't think it's just her. But I thought it was more of a management problem and an executive problem with the relationship with Paradox. And that's specifically something that she called out during that documentary, like the strain of the relationship with the dev and the publisher, rather. So, I mean, that is kind of interesting to think. I don't know. The jury is still out on that one, and we will find out to some extent if it was a creative direction roadblock, because if pulling CO out and then giving the code to somebody else and they pull off a miracle, well, that's cool. That's great. They're also pretty well insulated if they don't pull off a miracle, because you're handing somebody a 53% game and saying, go fix this. There's only so much you can do. I'm kind of disappointed to hear they're not starting from scratch on a new game, especially console. Like, I don't know. They had zero experience doing console. It's 2 years late. They relied on an external studio to do console last time. Why do we think that there was anyone there that could handle this? They needed to hire the modders. They should have done that 5 years ago, unfortunately. The people that were capable of fixing your game could have steered you into the future. And instead they wanted to know, like, oh, well, how do we work better with you in the future? How do we make the game more moddable, but also remove the Steam Workshop and the most common way for people to trade things so that you can now depend on our mod system, which requires a separate email registration because God, like, oh, Paradox really needs your email because email's so valuable in 2025. Who uses email? I have over 100,000 unopened emails in my primary Gmail. If you're using email as a communication method outside of a professional workplace, I don't know. I'm judging you a little bit. They hired a couple modders. They didn't hire enough. They didn't hire the ones that matter. They didn't give them jobs developing the code or managing the people that write the code to help them come up with things and design more efficiently. It was just give them oh, we'll hire this modder and they could be the community manager for modders. That's the best use of the guy's time you could think of. Okay. You're the anomaly. I clear my emails every day, multiple times a day. What is wrong with you? You're not actually opening them, I hope. Because the ones that are junk, like, you shouldn't even open them. Don't let people know. No read receipts, no responses. Even opening it to render an image. Risky. Best thing you can do, ball it up, throw it in the trash. Tell them you never got it. They did the worst thing you can do in an industry where you have to create and sell a product. They overpromised and under-delivered. Yep. But the amazing thing is their promises were at least 2 years ahead of their development capabilities, which is, those are some promises. Those are some promises. Cannot live without reminders. I unsubscribe from marketing emails. So that's my problem. Okay, so I am, what am I, 47 now? My primary Gmail was created when Gmail was invite only, I think in 2001. And I have been using it for 25 years for registering for every account. You want my email at a cash register? Sure, here. I literally only use it to reset passwords, or if you tell me, like, hey, I emailed you a thing. Oh, okay, when was this? 2018? Still haven't opened it yet. I'll get to it. Feel really old since I got my Gmail at the same time. There you go. Hopefully Snowflake Studio can fix the game somewhat. Glad you brought. Yeah, so Chris, I don't know if you probably weren't here when we were talking about it, but their other games that they have built don't have me with high hopes that they're the studio to steward cities into the future. Where is it? This button? Yeah, so they did survive in the aftermath. Sure, that's great. Opened your account when you were 3. So surviving the aftermath, 72% positive. It's got 4 out of 5, a little over 4 out of 5 stars on Xbox, which is great. But the other games that they list on their website for their portfolio, like This Is Us, this is Iceflake Studios, Race Arcade, which is a mixed at 60%. Premium Pool Arena, which is mixed at 46%. And then they have Ice Lakes, which is actually really well reviewed on Steam. But I went to click on the Google Play link because I'm on Android. And I was like, oh, let me just see what the Google Play Store says. And it doesn't say anything because they have a broken link to the Google Play Store on their website. So, like, they do mobile fishing games and crappy pool games and crappy racing games. and a game that might kind of overlap. So, but that game itself, again, is a 72%. It's not like, you know, they're bringing in the Breath of the Wild team to make another 96% banger. Like, here's a game, try and fix it, boys. So we'll see. We'll see what comes of it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. What I do know is that they've got a team that has built the city management game, technically. They have console experience, technically. And they've made a mobile fishing game. You know, so there's some overlap technically in the fact that they make games. It's an uphill battle no matter what. I don't think it's not going to be easy for anybody. I am. So here's the thing though. I am at the point where I am confident and can confidently say that I don't think Colossal Order was the team that was going to do it. But I have also been confident that Colossal Order is not the dev team to make a fun CS2 game since 2021. I've been aware of that for a very long time because the fun aspect of the game was always my main criticism. Even when I saw it in alpha with really flat textures and basic, I mean, the buildings were grids, not to mention the grids that they sat on. Like, I saw it early and I never thought it was fun to play. So I don't know how you fix that part of it without an agonizing reappraisal of the entire thing from the ground up. And I don't know if people signing the checks and making those decisions understand that kind of technical debt. It's a different kind of technical debt because, like, technical debt in general is one thing where in specific terms, like, you're writing code in a sloppy way where it takes you more time to clean up and mop up that code later than it would have done to have built it and structured it correctly in the first place is, I think, an easy way to understand how technical debt can happen. But there is like this debt under the hood of, I mean, we're talking about a game. What's a game supposed to be? It's supposed to be fun to play. What is, like, I don't know how broad everybody's tastes are, but I play a lot of different games. I play shooters, I play strategy, I play card games. I haven't been able to stop playing Surrounded lately. And like, I love all kinds of games. I don't fit into just one niche. But I'm looking for something out of those games. When it's a competitive shooter, I'm looking for a visceral experience. When it is, you know, a city builder, I'm often looking to unwind. I'm looking to de-stress. I want a game that isn't going to fight me back. And I feel like it has not been fun to play City Skylines II ever. And then again, it's just so central and core to what I believe the problem is with the game. And when the CEO has been saying for the last 2 years, like, oh, the problem is not the simulation, the problem is not the game is fun. But what if you think that the game is not fun? Then they don't have a lot for you there. And maybe there will be something for me there now, but I doubt it. I think it's too late. I think I don't mean to insult out of the gate. I don't know any of these people. I can look at their resume from what their company has put out. And if Surviving the Aftermath and some mobile games and some very poorly rated, poor looking Steam games are your thing, like I just don't have a lot of hope for this. I have more hope for a console version than I did yesterday, but I still have all the same concerns and complaints about that console version, why I think Colossal Order should have canceled it months ago. And that is, there just is not a fun game under the hood. So if you are going to build a game that requires mods and other things to fix, which was the case with the PC version, then at best you can have a broken game that isn't fun to play. Like, what are you wasting your time to put that on a console for? They need to fix some of those things under the hood that make the game not fun to play, in my opinion. There are people that are still enjoying it just fine to this day. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in the long run with a new dev. It's just going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. It is a make or break moment for the franchise. Absolutely. I think arguably it could have been a while ago, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay, I'm sorry. I missed a couple things, and I have seen City State Metropolis come up a few times. I am personally going to stay away from that one. They've got a little bit less divisive in their politics. But I will just say some of the policies and reasoning behind them in the first game were, I think it's fair to say, borderline racist or racist in general. And basically go conservative if you want easy mode and go liberal if you want a hellscape. And they got away from that in 2. They made it less political and less divisive, but I can't ignore that, and it's still baked in under the hood, and I think it's kind of stupid at its core. So regardless of the game that person is capable of putting out, I'm going to stay away from it. I think it is impressive what they did going from 1 to 2, and 2 to 3 was Metropolis. There's 2 games that came out before if you want to check out what they've done. But I don't think one dev is going to fill this void, and I don't think that's the dev to do it. Satisfactory for sure is something that I want to check out on the console. I don't know what it is. Like I sit at a computer, but I love console gaming. It's interesting though. Talk about console gaming, like Xbox. I have everything, but Xbox is in my jam for multiplayer for a long time. I like playing console. Unless I'm playing like Battlefield 6 with my brother-in-law, I'm not playing crossplay. I'm not playing on PC. I bought it to play on console so that I could not deal with cheaters when I'm playing by myself. And it's not every round, but my God, have we seen some horribly hyper obvious cheating in Battlefield 6. I've been playing games for a very long time. I know the difference between Battle Dad 47-year-old reaction time. I know the difference between someone who has a UAV or a drone spotting me to tell people where I am in a 3D space. And I know when someone has wall hacks and an aimbot and can kill 6 people in 3 seconds when they run into a room, even though they're like 180 degrees spread apart from one another on 3 different floors. So like, sure, there's the keyboard versus controller. Sure, there's the 47-year-old versus the teen. But then there's also like, it's very obvious when some people are cheating. And unfortunately, anytime you're cross-playing, that's a thing that happens. City builders are cozy games. Only thing I worry about with CC games is that the dev never seems to completely finish games. Yeah, I mean, that's a concern. That's definitely a concern. Overcharge Egg has only really been playing CS1 again. Interesting. So I know he was one of the few people that was playing CS2 unmodded. Was it Eokley? He had an unmodded build. He was like one of the only ones that was getting by without mods, or thought the game was feasible without it. He felt very strongly about sticking to it, at least for that build. I couldn't bother though. Like I just found the game so boring. I do kind of want, now that it's out, now the Ultimate Edition is out, now that all this has happened, like it would be kind of interesting to go look at the game in the state that it was left in by Colossal Order. But I guess I should at least wait till Wednesday with the bike patch and maybe even more. Lee Hawkins abandoned ship at this point. Yeah, Lee was pretty fed up, I know, with CS2 in general. Was not hitting the mark. Amazing News Paradox was incompetent. I hope this new dev gives CS2. No, Paradox. Whoa. Optimus, no. Paradox is sticking around. Paradox is still very much involved. Paradox. Colossal Order is the dev that is gone. Paradox owns the intellectual property rights. So they are giving it to another dev of theirs internally so that Paradox can treat it the way that they wanted to treat it this last couple of years, which is to turn it into a money printing factory. Just because I put so much time into it. Let me remind you about all the DLC. It's so stupid. It's so stupid how much DLC there was. Okay, you ready? This is for the first game. Mass Transit, Green Cities, that's season 2. They had 3 more mainline DLCs. Plazas and Promenades was so good. Concerts should have come to console, but it didn't. There was the radio stations. There was all the content creator stuff. European Suburbia. Where's Revo's? Squigglehausen and Revo. This is what they want out of 2. And they can't do this if they're taking 2 years to push out, 3 DLCs. This is what they want out of City Skylines 2. They want to sell you a whole bunch more DLC. And it's literally like it's in the announcement today. You just have to understand corpo speak. They mutually decided independent paths. CEO is going to work on new projects and exploring new opportunities. Basically, don't touch cities. CEO is confident that the franchise will continue to thrive. And Paradox is confident that there will be more content and new experiences. And of course, those cost money. And there will be new updates and content drops for many years. Which again is money. Like they put all this money into developing and marketing this game and partnered, whatever the Xbox agreement was to bring it to Game Pass, all these things. And then, out comes a stinker that's not generating cash, that doesn't have the players behind it. They need a reset switch. They need something heavy duty. But again, I don't think that Iceflake is what's going to do it. Do I think they can do better? Theoretically. Will they toe the line because they're internal? Sure. But based on what they've done, who knows? Who knows? Major Sims flashbacks. I mean, yeah, so I've referred to this in another video, AC, right? But like, they literally took the SimCity model and we're like, okay, let's do SimCity. Oh, SimCity went online and made all these terrible decisions. Let's do City Skylines and we'll take over their audience. But then when they're like, what's next? Someone was like, oh, I don't know. What did SimCity do? Oh, they tanked the brand. Let's tank the brand. That's what we do next. And they took that part of the playbook too, but ignored the end result of said playbook. CEO are reported to have earned over $339 million in the last 12 years. Is that in, if you're looking at that in financial statements, that is in, not, is it in crowns, which is like 1 to 7? I'm pretty sure if you're seeing earnings from CO or PDX, it's going to be in crowns. So it's going to throw your numbers off a lot. Be careful there. The only thing that else is cooking, so I feel like they'll be around much longer. Yeah, like, I mean, what does... If everything they've been telling us for the last 2 years is true, all they've been working on, all hands on deck, has been City Skylines 2, and now nothing. So, yeah, what's next? Not City Skylines. I bet they would probably get legal action if they went to do a city builder next. Like, what do you do with 4 city builders in your resume and the most recent one got taken away from you? Like, who's putting down money to publish your game? Probably not. I'm an accountant. I don't want to think about currency conversion at home. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't blame you. But the crowns to USD conversion especially will throw things off. Most of the CO coders will just apply for new jobs at Snowflake. Well, yeah, maybe. That definitely sinks Colossal Order then. And that's the thing. So, okay, so here's the thing, right? Like, there is some benefit to that. And like, oh, like, here's somebody that already knows the code base. But I think I made the joke earlier on Egg's Discord, but it was like, guy applying for a new coding position at Iceflake. Like, oh, tell me about your experience. We're trying to build out City Skylines 2 and get it back on the tracks. It really went off the rails with the former devs. Tell me about your experience. Oh, I have experience driving City Skylines 2 off the rails. Would that be handy? Like... It's like, yeah, they know how it works, but they've also been sitting there for 2 years with their thumbs up their ass, not pushing out a game that can get above 52% on Steam. So, yeah, could their skills translate really easy? Would that be nice to find jobs for people? Absolutely. But I don't know, is that Paradox's goal? Definitely not Paradox's goal. But you could argue that maybe they could steal a few devs and like control the output better. But if this team was incapable of building the game that you wanted, why would you want to bring those same people over? So like I heard City Planner Plays kind of speculating like that, but that's just what I think. I mean, I'm a hiring manager. I have to worry about this stuff. PDX and Iceflake may well poach headhunt the best devs. So I mean, they could. That absolutely could happen. But again, like, what were the best devs over at CO doing? I don't know who's a City Skylines 2 fan here. I am not. So I don't know if I would want anyone. Keep that crazy passionate sound designer. Bring her over. Sure, fine. But like, whoever was in charge of the AI traffic, gone. Whoever was in charge of the zoning squares that cannot line up straight on 2 blocks, gone. Anyone who had anything to do with those zoning squares, out. Get out right now. People ever built the road tools? Yes. Edgemap Fog. Nice to see you. Is that some train? Is that a train track, Edgemap Fog? It is. Never got sold on 2. Always a Skyline 1 fan. I think you were lucky there. And it's still, I can't believe, after all of this news, 2 years later, all of this shakeup, it is not a penny cheaper than it was. The game's so bad, we fired the dev. Same price. Oh, it's horrible. We had to put people out of work and completely destroy our profit margins for the next quarter. It's just, it's devastating. Putting a bunch of people out of work right before Christmas. Like, I shouldn't say that because, hey, maybe they go on, but like, seriously, like, what is Colossal Order going to do with no irons in the fire? Like, they're not a very large team, and they were apparently all hands on deck for City Skylines 2. Now, either you were lying about that, or you were all hands on deck for City Skylines 2 and you got nothing. Which means you are starting from scratch. You were planning on this to be your bankroll for the next 10 years. And you barely made it 2. It's sad. But at the same time, like, I have felt for a while that, like, using up money and resources on City Skylines 2 is a waste at this point. Hope they fired the guy who couldn't showcase the game with any real skills during that dev's live stream. No, I'm pretty sure he's high up. He's still there. Do we have financial statements? Do they have funds in reserve, or are they highly leveraged? So I spent a lot of time looking into PDX financials. I don't think Colossal Order publicly shares theirs. I don't think they're shareholder led. But Paradox is, and is very transparent, one, about their financials, but two, like, when you are shareholder driven, you are profit driven, you are quarter over quarter driven, and you need to not only explain where you made your money and how you made your money, but how you are going to make your money. And a huge part of that expectation of where the money was coming from for Paradox was games like City Skylines and the ability to sell existing content creator created, minimally cost projects that they can then turn around and sell. So they want to build this game, they want to build a platform, they want to sell a bunch of DLC over the years, but also do a lot of content creator packs and things like that, and make money the way they had made money in the past. But again, it's not the same. You can't capture that same lightning strike because the math is all wrong now. You got rid of the dev. You have this busted shell of a game. I don't know. It's unfortunate at best. Developer taking over has made mostly iOS and Android games, even though they are Paradox company distribution. Yes. Yeah. So they have done some interesting things. They did Surviving the Aftermath, which is the closest overlap. That is a 72% reviewed game on Steam. The Xbox version is a 4-star, which is a tiny ray of hope for console fans. But they also made Race Arcade 60%, and Premium Pool Arena, which is a 46% game on Steam. And then this bad boy, Ice Lakes, which is actually well reviewed on Steam, but I'm an Android user. I went to click it on Google Play, and they didn't even update the link on their own page. But that is their portfolio. They've made a crappy overhead racing game. They've made a crappy overhead pool game, a fishing game for touchscreens, and Surviving the Aftermath. So it doesn't exactly fill me with hope. You know, there are studios that have made shifts within a franchise. One of my favorite games, not anymore because they keep doing horrible things, but like, I am a fan of Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and Fallout 4. I really enjoyed those 3 games, and they are wildly different from the franchise that they came from. I want to say isometric, but I know it's not the correct terminology, but that kind of top-down approach. I don't know why I can't think of the words I'm thinking of. But yes, they did Survive in the Aftermath, which I think is great, but that's the end of their resume when it comes to relevant experience, other than the fact that some of these other games also ran on console, which is something that they need to do. But this just being broken, I love that so much. No, sorry. Like, it's their own webpage, like, it's the developer's webpage. They should update that, especially when so many people are going to be curious, like, who the hell are these people? Let's go click on it to find out. Race Arcade is also not listed in my GP market. Interesting. So you got a couple games that have just been taken down quietly. City Skylines II got KSP'd. Yeah. As long as they leave CS1 alone and let me play in peace, I'll be fine. I mean, I'm pretty sure they handed the reins to Tantalus. I don't think they're done selling stuff for that. And I will say, of all the things that I can imagine parting money for, I still would love to buy some fall tree packs. Give me fall trees as a DLC and I will pay for that. I'm fine with that. Iceflake's not in the Apple Store either? Okay, so it is still on Steam. But that's interesting. So much up in the air. It'll be really interesting to see what happens. Thanks to Lance, by the way. Otherwise, I probably would have missed this one and not had this PowerPoint ready in time. But like, I don't go read up on things. I usually get direct messages from Lance, which is awesome. Lance is one of the city's Reddit mods, and we'll just drop this stuff in my inbox because they know that I'm not going to read it anywhere. But it becomes a rant. It becomes a thing. All these map packs, not one damn winter map. Well, that's the thing. For the winter map to be possible, you would have to have snowfall as well. And then like, oh, well, why would I buy this map pack if I need snowfall and I don't want snowfall? So it's a vicious cycle. I get it though. Yeah, so like, so what's next for me in cities? I don't know, but I think I would like to see this build in the background here. I would like to see it get to $1 billion. It's going to take a while at this rate. We were at 380 million. Oh, what do we got that's full? We'll go knock this out real quick. Hold on. We'll try not to mess this up, as has happened so many times before. Okay, collapse. We're on collapse. We're not on meteor. We'll go fix our cemetery while we're here. And meanwhile, this may not even matter because I might forget to save when I quit out, so... Because I haven't really technically done anything. That's okay, though. Is there a date max? I didn't even know about that, but that's unfortunate if that's the case, because I should have been at $1 billion a long time ago, but I totally gutted my city to redesign something and disrupted the money flow. I shouldn't have. I've never hit $1 billion with a city, and I like just want to really badly, but I haven't been playing this enough. Do other map packs require DLC? For real? That seems like a bad choice. Also, I don't know if that's entirely true. Otherwise, why wouldn't you require mass transit to be one of those DLCs? Because that would make intersections so much more powerful. They should have done that, or just included those in the base game. More than double-digit millions. I'm impressed you have over 250 million. Yeah, I was way over 400. And I've been slowly crawling my way back. I haven't really looked at the finances in this city. To be fair, I kind of let the ball drop on this one. It was around that gigantic death wave where I lost 40,000 people. I did some reconfiguration. I was like, oh, we have so many people moved out. Like, let's rebuild some neighborhoods. And then the finances never really recovered. So like city value, city budget, Like you can see I was making money. And right around the time of that death wave, I changed the balance around and have barely been climbing since. It was a horrible financial fall for the city. Forget the fact that 40,000 people died. Like we're barely $500 million right now. Some people are going to have to die to make that kind of money. All right, well, cheap mo in the stock market. It's too slow though for the scale of money that we're talking about now, because you can only buy so much stock at a time. And like I can just make that much money letting the game run for like 2 minutes without having to interact with the stock system, which is really bad on console. At the very first map I made and remastered that only has 5 million, was planning to spend most of that to retool the entire transit system. So okay, I think I started to say like there's a couple things I've been thinking of doing. I might do, just for the heck of it, a Cities 2 Ultimate Edition, hey, the game's finally done build, just to see what it's like. Not that I think it's gonna do numbers or that it will be particularly fun. It's honestly more just an experiment of where things are at right now, and I'm curious. So that is something that may be happening. More River Run may be happening. I think in 2026, with this news dropping, we may have to just do a new build in Cities 1 regardless. But there's Meme Cities Monday that I want to bring back. There is River Run that I want to do more. I want to go back and revisit a lot of the builds, but also maybe think about some that we might do as rebuild projects and remaster some of the 9-tile cities from the channel before. Maybe they aren't full Let's Plays, but just little projects I could work on the side. New Boston is still very much in my brain, and I don't know how to do it. I might just put out like a New Boston build and separately like a video essay on how all these different neighborhoods came about and some of the interesting things behind them. I'm fascinated with how messy the Boston streets are, and there's a remarkable story behind it all. I mean, the quick version is it was mostly water, and they had to make land, and they made a little bit of land and made a road. And then when they needed another road, they made a little bit more land and made a road and didn't think about where the last road was or where the next road's going, and just do that for 200 years. Need to get back to your city and finish your Mount Fuji inspired scenic view? Yeah, go for it. Made a 21-tile airport in CS1 remaster. Just with one map that is nothing but an airport with external highway connections. That could be kind of fun. There's some ideas. There's some things that can be done. I will be keeping an eye on the news and like what happens. They're going to introduce us to Iceflake Studios, and we're not going to really see any tangible results from them. I don't think anytime soon. Maybe we see, a patch. If they're taking over officially at the beginning of the year, they don't want that first thing to be bad. So maybe we see a patch February, March at the latest. Sizable patch. Direction. Like if that next big patch, it doesn't have to be impressive. It has to be setting the stage for your future success. It has to be reclaiming ownership over the coding and the technical debt and determining where things are at more than fixing them. You need to learn that thing in and out, understand where it is at, how it is built, and how you can improve going forward. So I'm not expecting anything big from the first update, but if they can learn from it, the second update might be big. And maybe we'll see some tangible progress on the console version. Hey, PDX, if you want a console player who's willing to test behind the scenes, and technically, since there's no expiration date on it, I already signed your NDA, so like, let's talk. If you're gonna do this, let's talk and let's make a better thing happen for the console community. Just saying, you know, or you could pretend I don't exist because I made a meme about Marina, but you don't fuck with her anymore either. So I don't even know if it's an issue. Probably not. Oh man. Okay, how about we call it? I want to thank you all so much for coming in and tuning in for a rant, whether you joined right on time or in the middle. If you want to play it back, I did try and get started right away today, so much so that I forgot to hit go live at the beginning, but hey, you know, that's a problem for just mouse. But if you do go back to watch the beginning, you can hear my second take at the intro. You can add mods to console when it releases. It's built into the launcher. PDX still wants console market share. Wait, add mods to console when it releases now. So that's probably not going to happen. Not to say that it is impossible. And mods can exist as different ecosystems on PlayStation and Xbox, as Fallout 4, for example, shows very well. There are certain capabilities in script modding that you cannot do in PlayStation that you can do in Xbox. So there are all kinds of mods like Place Anywhere and behavioral based changes, AI changes, all kinds of things you can do on the PC and Xbox version of Fallout 4. And I should say this in the past tense because I don't know where modding is at right now with the new update. I know it's a mess. They broke it all again. But even after the next gen update on console, I had a pretty deep mod list. And on Xbox, it is much more possible to do those things. But at least from a design perspective early on, CO was committed to the idea of no mods on console. So they have Paradox mods, but don't confuse that with assets. It's buildings. You're downloading buildings. At its core, it was never intended and they weren't planning to add mods in. So if they were going to do that, it would require this new dev to potentially bake that in, because they would have ripped it out or prevented it or not even thought about it needing to be articulated in the build that they're working on, because there just was no plans to do that. Appreciate you starting right away. I just watched the Surviving Mars relaunch live replay, and it took the streamer almost 25 minutes to show the starting menu. Like, bruh. If you'll go back to the 3 videos that we did for Cities 2, and we're doing a freaking Let's Play, people. This is what we're doing. I'm going to tell you every button I'm pressing and everything that I'm putting down, and I'm going to show you how this game works. By the way, this game doesn't work. Tune in next time for my review of Snow, and don't tune in the third time when I lose my crap and don't bother posting a video until the embargo's up. I said what I could say at the time. I don't feel bad about it, is all I will say. I feel like I did the best I could at the time. So these are the kind of things that we talk about here. Whenever there's Cities news, it's always I think it's a fun rant. I don't usually put together a 120 slide PowerPoint, but sometimes I do. If you'd like to see the next one, though, one way to make sure is to subscribe, and I'll see you on that next one. To be fair, I am working on another PowerPoint. There is one PowerPoint that I do every year. That is the end of year review. So sometime around Christmas, New Year's, we'll look back at all the different news stories and rant about all those as well in a PowerPoint format. I hope you will join me for that. In the meantime, stay tuned. live streams when they happen, usually at 9 p.m. Eastern. There will be some Cities content coming at some point, maybe even Cities 2, so we can dive into this Ultimate Edition now that it's out and released, and ironically no longer owned by Colossal Order. But that's okay. It's, you know, hey, what can you do except the best you can? And we'll see where that franchise goes. Stay tuned here for news on the console version especially. And I guess I could have been nicer to Iceflake before asking, like, if I get access. But seriously, like, if you want honest feedback and someone who's arguably still under NDA, even though they don't talk to me, it's an option. Reach out. I don't know where, in the comments. I don't have social media anymore. Good watch and listen. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you for the rant, rave, and stream tonight. Appreciate you. And Adia, I read your comment already about diving right in. Yeah, don't waste time. 25 minutes to get to the menu. Come on, bro. Check out Pigeon Simulator. If you can poop, I'll be there. All right. Well, if you want to see more, again, subscribe if you haven't already. I will catch you in the next one. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, or hit the dislike button twice if you disliked it. That's how its system works. But I will see you on the next one, which maybe one day later this week. We got a couple things going on this weekend. What's this weekend? Oh, Wicked. We're going to see Wicked. And there's another thing on Sunday as well. So maybe a Friday stream, maybe something, but definitely keep an eye out. I was thinking of coming back tonight for Member Monday, but this news broke and we had to buckle down and focus and PowerPoint, and that's how we got here. Hit dislike twice. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really do. You have no idea how much I appreciate that. Thank you so much, all. Have a great rest of your day wherever it falls. Maybe you're up late in Europe. Maybe you're up tomorrow in Australia. Maybe you've still got some daylight over on the West Coast. If you're far enough south, I guess. Probably not. No, wait a minute. Never mind. But anyways. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a fantastic one. I hope Cities is in good hands, but I'm not holding my breath. I will see you next time. Until then, Move the Mouse signing out. This song is like just way too soft. It's not. We need something. Not the jam I thought it was going to be. It's not bad, but I thought it was going to have a little bit more bump to it. But I just got a really chill playlist on here. So enjoy these, enjoy this chill tune on the way out, I guess. I don't know. Maybe this one? Nope, that's another chill one. It's all chill tracks. It's way too chill. It's way too chill. All right, at this point, it's too late. We're committed. Let this little groove take you out of the stream. I'm just gonna shut up. Oh, hey, Gary, thank you so much. Regarding Iceflake, do you think PDX will pull resources from other studios that have more experience in major titles? I mean, they're pulling Iceflake because they think they are the ones, and I am particularly concerned about that. I was just going to duck out, but I will pull up the Iceflake portfolio. If you look into their website, it doesn't instill a lot of confidence. They did Surviving Aftermath, sure, that's great. but it's, I don't know, it's a 72. It's a little bit mid on Steam, unfortunately. You know, it's not anything to necessarily light the world on fire for. But they've also done some other games that just have me incredibly... I was going to pull out the presentation, but it's hanging on me. They did a racing game. It's overhead, and it's very mid-rated. They did a pool game that is, again, simple overhead billiards, and it is not well-rated. I have very much... concerns. I didn't think CO was the ones that was going to get us where this game needed to go. So I don't think it could be any worse. I just don't know that it's going to be... I don't know it's going to be what we need. But we'll see. Maybe they do end up pulling people. I will be talking more about news and speculating about all kinds of things here. So Gary, thank you so much. Sorry you caught right at the end of the stream, but stick around. I will be back for more. There will be some funny cities builds coming. Meme City Mondays is coming back. River Run's coming back. And we'll probably do, now that it is complete with the Ultimate Edition, a Cities 2 build just for the heck of it. So stay tuned for that and a whole lot more in the live streams. I will see you all in the next one. Until then, Move the Mouse signing out.